center. Deep in breakaway, Gore trying to come in alone. Shoot! Score! 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 Yannick Gore! Yannick Gore, baby! He wins it for the Lightning! 5-4 in overtime!
Taylor the shot, redirected, score! Game 7, Montana St. Louis! We are going back to Tampa Bay! Cavalier spinning. Cavalier looking. Trying to drop it off. Brings it in himself. Left it in the middle. Shot.
Welcome back to a new episode of Quick Strike. My name is Jake Ricker. I'm here with my good friend Michael. Michael, how you doing today?
Not too good, Jake. I think that has something to do with how the game was played.
Yeah, that's a strong possibility. Obviously, for those of you that don't know, the Lightning fell to the Columbus Blue Jackets 3-1 today. Definitely a bummer after going up 1-0 in a crazy long, hard-fought battle in Game 1, but the Bolts do fall in this one, and the series is now tied 1-1. Let's try to break this one down a little bit. Start off with the first period. I actually thought the Bolts got off to a good start. You know, watching that first period, they came out aggressive and, you know, were playing like they picked up right where they left off after that first game.
Yeah, they actually looked really, really good. Nikita Kucherov, Braden Point, Andre Palat, that line looked spectacular. I thought that, you know, overall, they didn't seem to lose too much when it came to their legs after that 5 OT period, or OT win, I should say. And then, you know, after that goal from Kucherov, the wheels just sort of fell off.
Yeah, and real quick on the goal from Kucherov, that was a great goal by that line. Palat took the shot, bounced off the boards. Kucherov grabbed it from behind and banked it right off Korpisalo. And that was, you know, when I saw that, I'm thinking, okay, here we go. Up 1-0 early. This looks good. And then I thought the big turning point for them, not only after that goal, but the Bolts would eventually get a power play. And the power play just did not look good whatsoever. They tried a lot of passes through the middle of the ice, those cross crease passes, and they were missing a bunch of them that come out of the zone. And ever since that power play, it just didn't seem like Lightning were themselves.
I think that part of that has to do with the fact that, one, we don't have Stamkos on that circle. We have Johnson. And I saw a lot of people on Twitter talking about how, you know, Johnson is not Stamkos. Teams are not scared of Tyler Johnson, which is accurate. And we'll get to Tyler Johnson later because I thought he had just a horrendous game. But also, Mikhail Sergachev is manning the top-line power play instead of Victor Hedman. And I know that Hedman doesn't do a ton on the top line power play, but he does have the awareness to get passes in certain places that Sergachev doesn't have. And Sergachev plays really well with Shattenkirk on the second power play unit, which allows him to use his quick wrister to get pucks to the back of the net. So the fact that those lines were a little bit scrambled, I don't think helped the Lightning at all, as the power play went 0-4, and it's gone 0-4 in this series.
Yeah, Stamkos' presence is definitely felt on the power play with him not being on that left side. And as you mentioned, Johnson is not the same as Stamkos, obviously. And you can tell, and you can clearly tell. Now, as for why Hedman was not on that top power play unit, I don't know why. Somebody mentioned this when I was covering the game on Bay Bolts today. And I don't know if that's due to Cooper just trying to mix up the lines to get something going, or if it's due to him trying to get a mismatch, or what the deal is there. But the power play definitely needs another shakeup because it is not gone well. A lot of missed passes. And then right after that power play, Columbus was able to get the equalizer as, you know, the Bolts were kind of looking the wrong direction. One guy walks right in front of the net and puts it behind and puts it in the back of the net. So costly mistake right after that power play. You know, that's the kind of thing you have to make sure you lock down because team gain momentum. And as we've mentioned before, momentum is huge in these games with no fans. And Columbus was able to capitalize there.
Yeah, and I think part of that had to do with the fact that I think Stevens was on the ice with, I think it was the second line, I might be mistaken, but he was on the ice with two members of the second line, didn't know who to cover, and they got wide open and they were able to bury it to tie the game. And, you know, that is one where I would like Vasilevsky to save that puck. It went under his arm, in between his leg and his arm, and I know it's like really enclosed, high danger chance, but the fact that he's, right there, that you make Vasilevsky save that thing 90 out of 100 times.
Yeah, and as much of a bummer as that was, as things went on from this game, the Lightning had their chances. There's a lot of missed chances. That was something else that was really big in this game. We saw a lot of passes thrown across the ice, and I believe Killorn, Cirelli were two of the names that come to mind who just missed the pass. It was just out of their reach. It almost seemed like the passes weren't 100% there on this game. And there was a couple of times where the Lightning could have easily tied this game up or gotten the lead in whatever point we were at in the game, and they just weren't able to do it. So that definitely did not help. Columbus was eventually able to go up again here 2-1 when, once again, same kind of deal. The Lightning have had this problem many of times where they tend to leave a guy wide open on the right side or left side of the net. That's just what happened here, and he got a clear shot at it. Vasi didn't really have a chance on this one, and Columbus went up 2-1.
Yeah, I'm not really a huge fan of the fact that Bjorkstrand got left so wide open on that play. But also, it was a power play goal. Like, there's only so much you could do about it. Vasilevsky did what he was supposed to do, which was hug the post. And then Bjorkstrand, for the second time in this series, found the corner and beat Vasilevsky. So, I know it's a power play goal. The power play for Columbus is rolling right now after going 0-4 in the Toronto series, which is very concerning for the Lightning and the penalty kill. But I heard Bobby's Chief Taylor and Dave Andrechuk talking after the game, and I didn't realize this, but they only had one shot on goal in their 3 power plays, and of course the one shot they had went in. So I guess they did do a good job. You look at the basic stats and you go, oh, the Lightning's power play the Lightning penalty kill has been terrible, but their power play for Columbus hasn't been all that good. They've just been really, really fortunate.
Yeah, that's very true. And going off the penalties and power plays here too, the Lightning have a tendency to take a lot of penalties in these kinds of games. We've seen it last game. We saw it this game again. And even though necessarily the penalties this time weren't blatantly bad, like the too many men on the ice calls that we saw in game 1, it wasn't that bad, but still the Bolts just have a tendency to take stupid, silly penalties like the one Killorn took where he got frustrated, grabbed a guy's stick and got a holding call. That's just stuff you cannot do in the playoffs, and especially with Columbus being much better than they were in the Toronto series or whatever, even if it's just the Lightning struggling on the penalty kill, whatever it may be, you can't do that. This is something the Lightning have got to fix and got to crack down on if they're going to want to go deep into the playoffs.
Yeah, I was about to write a piece before the playoffs started, and I ended up not getting to it, but I wish I did. It was about Barclay Goodrow and Blake Coleman and how they had to be X factors because of the penalty kill and the fact that they were so good on the penalty kill in the regular season. I don't think I saw them on the penalty kill much in this game, but when I did, they were in the offensive zone. They did a really good job on the penalty kill. It just happened to be that when the Lightning were on the penalty kill, and I think it was Cirelli and Stevens. That's what the goal was. Okay, so it wasn't the first goal that Stevens got messed up. It was the second goal. Stevens wasn't covering his guy, and therefore Bjorkstrand scored. But otherwise, besides that mix-up, they did a good job. And they're going to have to do a good job because last year they gave up a power play goal 50% of the time they were on the penalty kill. 5 out of 10 times. That's unacceptable.
Right, can't be doing that, and again, especially in the playoffs, being such a completely different beast, especially this year, it just becomes so important. Moving into the third period, the Lightning were down a goal just like they were in game 1, and even though this was a bummer of a game and it stings to see the Lightning go down, it's only 1-1 in this series, and the Lightning didn't play an awful game. This wasn't. I don't think you can sit here and say, well, this is a red flags everywhere. This is a disaster. It wasn't an awful game by the Lightning. Would you agree with that?
Yes and no. I think the fact that it was only a 2-goal game with every single thing going wrong was a positive sign to see, but they didn't capitalize on any of their chances. They beat Columbus on the shot clock, but all of their shots, or the majority of their shots, were, harmless, off-the-wall kind of shots. And the Kucherov shot was extremely lucky. to go in because Korpisalo was facing the wrong side. Yes, he's a hot goalie right now, but they didn't play particularly well, I thought, and they missed a ton of chances. They missed the net a ton, and Tyler Johnson was the main guy to do it. I'm so tired of him missing the net, and I dumped on Tyler Johnson a ton, and part of it was warranted and part of it wasn't. But if you're gonna miss the net that much, I don't know what we're doing here, and I know I've said that a lot as a phrase over the last couple of games, but come on, man, you need to hit the net. You need to at least make the goalie make a save.
Yeah, the missed chances were definitely a big part of this loss, and that if they hit these chances, I mean, the Lightning could have easily had a couple of goals. This could have been easily a 4-2 game when you look at it, but they just missed those chances. And credit where credit is due, Korpisalo, again, played another great game. I mean, he's been hot, and if he continues to be hot, it's just going to be tough for the Lightning going down this series, and we'll see how it goes as we move into the next game here soon. But and you're right. It definitely, obviously, was not the Lightning's best performance, which is why they lost this game. But series is only 1-1, so we're going to be heading into Game 3 now, tied at 1, and there isn't a huge home ice advantage here. So normally people will talk about stealing one at home, but that's not something we don't have to worry too much about here in 2020 as we are playing in the bubble environment. But not the best Lightning game, but I also can't sit here and say it was the worst Lightning game ever either. So we'll see how this goes moving into Game 3. And real quick before we start to wrap this up, let's go what we did last time. One positive, one negative you took from this game.
So before we do that, I do want to talk about the 3-1 goal. I guess that's my negative, is the 3-1 goal. Awful. It's just all around awful. People were talking about, it was a great goal by Columbus. It was a really, really good opportunity by Winberg, and he got around Shattenkirk, and he beat Vasilevsky while falling down. No. Shattenkirk did nothing on that play. He was able to get by Shattenkirk. Vasilevsky should have saved that puck. It was a really, really bad play all around. That is my negative. My positive, the top line is still working. They had a couple of chances that they missed on, but the fact that they got the only semblance of offense on this team is good and bad, because the rest of the team isn't doing much on offense, but also shows that, they can make situations out of nothing. That's what Kucherov did, is he took a rebound shot that went over the net, and he tucked it home. And that is the type of offense that you're going to need against a stout defensive team like Columbus.
Yeah, and you nailed it. The first line was obviously clicking once again and playing really well and picked up a lot of the slack from what we saw from the other lines. But my negative for this one is what we talked about earlier in the show, is the offensive changes we missed. I mean, you can't just have so many offensive chances. You got to get some of those to go into the net, because obviously, if you don't get those in, next thing you know, you're down 3-1, and you got to get some pucks into the back of the net at some point, obviously. My positive from this game, though, is I think that the Lightning did a real good job keeping at it and at least getting opportunities. And I know I just said that was obviously a big, negative for them, but the fact that they were able to continuously outshoot Columbus is a positive sign to me. It means that they're not giving up. They're not sitting back at any point. Even though they were down in this game, I still thought overall, they were getting pucks to the net, which is something they've been criticized a lot for. And then one other thing I'll say, too, is that the power play is definitely something that needs to be worked on and needs to change if they want to make a difference in this series.
I agree with that. I think the power play has to be better. I don't know if Stamkos is going to come back. We don't know his timetable. But if you're Tyler Johnson, Andre Palat, Yanni Gourde, Nikita Kucherov, Braden Boyne, the list goes on and on. Shoot the damn puck.
Yeah.
Just get it towards the net. Rebounds will happen. They need to capitalize on rebounds. That was another big, big problem, is they were whipping on them, or they weren't even trying to go get them. They need to do something when it comes to rebounds, because that is how you beat a goalie like Korpisalo.
Right. Yeah, you're right. And maybe Stamkos will be back soon, and he'll end up making that difference maker for us on the power play. But you also can't rely on that, because obviously we don't know Stamkos' situation. He could be out for the rest of the series, so something definitely needs to change. We'll see what the Lightning end up trying to do in the next game. Remember, the next game is on Saturday. This one's at a 7:30 start, so a little bit different instead of the 3 o'clock starts, and the Lightning will look to go back up 2-1 in the series. So that's all we have for today. I hope you all enjoyed this episode of Quick Strike. As always, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Ring the bell so you don't miss out on more content like this. Check out the description for all of our affiliated links and links to our website, social media pages, all that good stuff. Be sure to leave a comment on what you would like to see us talk about next. And I want to hear too from you guys, what was your positive and one negative from this game? And let me know if you think the Lightning will be able to rebound in Game 3 and go back up 2-1 in the series. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. As always, go Bolts, and we'll talk to you in the next one.